Well, I put myself in a bit of a situation because I said no more projects until you finish the dozen projects you've already started. Well, we all know that was a white lie. I had someone reach out to me and say that a local shop class was shutting down, and if I could use any of the tools, they were free to a good home. I can't pass up old iron. So, got something in the bed of the truck here that we're going to unload and give it a little walk through. So let's check this thing out. So knowing that this thing came from a school, I'm hoping that it is not abused and this is just a nice layer of surface rust that's going to clean up real nice. But this is a Di-Acro Shear. And I have a finger brake in the garage already from Di-Acro, so I think it's going to make a really nice set. It's also a really great day because typically my wife is very against trash in the driveway, but I guess she went on a walk today and found this on the curb and dragged it home for me. So it's not a Toro like I usually like to work on. I like these guys a lot more, but hey, we'll see if we can get her to turn on. There we go. There we go. One more. Why do I do these things to myself? So I haven't really thoroughly inspected this thing too much. When I picked it up, I mean, the price was right. I didn't want to go through it and give them a hassle. So, giving it a quick look over right now, I'm not seeing any immediate signs of cracking in the casting. It does have the, I don't know what you want to call that, the holds the material down while it shears, and I mean, might as well, right? This is just a really thin sheet of, I believe it's aluminum. It came off of, it's just a no trespassing sign. Oh my gosh. Ha! Oh, this is gonna make my life so much easier once I find a place to put it. Pardon the mess, but I'll show you its twin. This is the 24-inch Di-Acro finger brake. Now, it's missing quite a few of the fingers, unfortunately, and they're a little bit pricey, so I'm waiting to find a good deal on those, but this thing's pretty neat. It's tough to see. It's on a really nice, heavy-duty stand there. It would be really cool if I could figure out how to mount the two together just to help with my space concerns in here at the moment, but we're going to figure that one out as we go. Alright, so far what I'm seeing is the straight edge here is actually really nice. Nice etched marking lines in there. I am getting off the surface rust with a little bit of difficulty. Unfortunately, there is some really fine pitting going on, but this is a shear. I'm not sure how vital a perfectly smooth flat surface is. Of course, I want to get it as nice as possible. We're going to see how this climbs up. I did notice that This side, the oil ports are missing caps, and on this side, they are, that one's there, but that guy's snapped off. Alright, I think I've got this thing figured out. So, what happens is when the handle is up all the way, it raises, I don't know what the correct word is, but this bar that holds your stock still. And it raises based on those arches right here from this guy lifting up. If you were to drop the handle, see, it goes down, the shear goes down. Now, what's pressing down on it is these big springs on either side. So this whole pressure bar is pivoting off of these little guys and this screw that's in all the way. So I think all I have to do is figure out... Oh wow, that's just loose right now. Is this guy loose? Oh yeah, that's just finger tight. So take a measurement of what those are at. I can remove the screws. I can knock out my pivots. I can remove this whole bar, clean that all up. And then on the back side here, our backer stop, or whatever you want to call it, that's just threaded in. So I can just twist these guys out, flip this thing up on end, clean the underside, polish up our table, replace those oil ports. I mean, this thing's really nice. It's going to be ready to go after a quick cleanup. And then we just got to figure out where we're going to put it. Ooh. Oh, bummer. She took a beating. Typically, I wouldn't wire wheel shafts like I did on here, but they don't do anything. I think this guy could slide either way, but... Alright. I gave her a quick scrub down, and I'm going to have to let this project sit for a few more days before I get back to it. So, while it's not perfect, I do want to prevent it from flash rusting immediately again, so we're going to run some Johnson's paste wax on all the exposed surfaces. And thankfully, my OCD is not telling me that I have to fully strip this machine down and repaint it. So, we're just going to try and get it as near to that point as possible. There's definitely a few more areas I'd like to clean better. I think we're going to start pulling off bolts individually after this and just clean behind those real quick. Now, one of the nice things is, after going through this machine so far, I really haven't found that many signs of abuse on it for coming out of a school. The, I don't know how you pronounce it, I believe it's the Git. The Git oil ports are busted pretty much all the way around, so I'll have to order a few more of those. The ruler on this side seen better days. I think I can just straighten it out. It's a little bit out of square, but I would like to have one added to the other side, but I do want a old school etched ruler, so might be a minute before I can find one of those. And I can get one at a garage sale or something like that, but I mean, otherwise, I think we're about ready to start building a stand for this thing and get it off the floor. It is a nice little machine. So I've started removing each of these bolts individually that put pressure on the cutter when it goes down, just so I can clean up behind them. Unfortunately, these two need our lever moved out of the way so they have clearance, so we're going to get to that. But I have no room to move again because things keep falling in my lap. So this is a Honda PA50, I believe, so a Honda Hobbit. And based on the VIN number there, that is a Honda Hobbit number 2, second edition. Needs a new, what do we need? It's got no compression, so it needs a new top end, that's for sure. It needs new tires on both end and tubes, and it's got no spark, so just another thing to work on. Okay, now for the exciting part. We get to work on the tool stand, and in my shop, a tool stand often says more about the tool than the tool itself, so we're going to have some fun with this one, and I'm going to be using C-channel, but trying to incorporate a little bit of an organic shape to it, so we'll see how it turns out. So I'm going to be using C-channel for the main legs, and then there will be a crossbar at the top, but what I would like to do is curve that C-channel around through there. So I'm going to try and cut that line, use that tail to wrap around, and put this thing all together. Now, that is not as much radius as I would like, but for the ease of things, that's just what we're going to do. Alright, so I've got both sides of this guy bent up, and we're just going to put some heat along the top and use this crescent wrench as a bender bar and see if it forms over the corner. It's not too bad. I do wonder if cracking out on that with a hammer will pull it in just a wee tighter. But otherwise, pretty good. So we have the basic shape of the frame starting to come together. As you can see, we've got to get all that welded in, but curve came out all right. I am not positive if I'm going to be able to live with that being a sharp corner or if I'm going to have to do something there, but now that it's there, I am going to want to add 2 shelves underneath here with some angle iron. But to wrap the whole look together when we start securing things in, I think for anywhere that I'm having bracing going across the frame, I need to add a nice false rivet on the inside of there. I think that will look real nice. So I'm going to get those put on. Now I'm just going to poke some holes through the center of the channel so I can weld the false rivets in from the back. Now I have a matching set of legs, and I'm actually really happy with how these turned out. I just need to get out the grinders, clean up a few of these welds, and we should be able to start putting our bracing in between the two, get everything connected. I'm getting ready to weld the cross arms on, and I'm running into a little bit of trouble of getting this thing square. So I know that I want these to sit 2 inches from the top of the table. So I have the table flipped upside down, and I have some spare C-channel there. So I've got these guys 2 inches off. If I want to get it square then to these and also that, I'm hoping that the fireball square is a truth of source here, so relatively it will get us where we want us. And if I look for a 1/4 inch off on either of those, it should turn out square. So I think we're just going to tack weld it and see where we wind up. as you can see, it's got a little bit of wobble in it, which isn't great for something that's going to hold 300 pounds. But the good news is I am using self-leveling, human leveling caster feet. So I'm going to be able to take that slop out of it. And right now, these bars are, I guess, square, parallel, and squarish to the ground. So that's going to take care of any issues I have. Let's get these things welded on. Well, I absolutely knew better than to do this. Before fully welding up those, they were going to pull the legs inward, which meant my cross members weren't going to fit. But, opening with a clamp across the bottom to spread it, and a little bit of kinetic persuasion, I don't see why it can't fit right in place. So now I need to put together the plates that the casters are going to sit on. So I've got my bolt holes all marked up, and then we're just going to tack weld all four together and run them through the drill press at once. Nice and quick. Well, it's finally above 60 degrees here, and I've been sweating out the swine flu, so I've been having trouble working on things. But, you know, it's hard to find time when there's better things to do. Now, I'm almost at a point where I'm ready to put the caster feet on, so I've got my plates all cut out, marked out. We're just going to weld those on and then see how the shear fits on top. Okay, so here's my master plan. I've got the shear lifted up in the air, and I'm going to have it mounted on these crossbars. Now, I didn't want to drill those in place, so I pre-drilled them. I've got them bolted up, and I know if I was to attempt to find where they should mount on there, there's no chance when I set the shear on that it was going to line up. So, figure we're just going to set it in place there. I know that my crossbars are inch, and these are 1.5 inches, so I've got 1/2 inch aluminum blocks sitting on the top, and we can just set it on there and do a little tack welding. See how it goes. Well, I'd swear you'd think I'm smarter than this. Well, I definitely do, but it's not going to sit flat with those bolts in the way. Alright, I got to rethink this. Here's the first look at it with all of the rivets in place. I really like that architectural look that it gives it. I think it's looking really good. Now, next is I want to add a tray on that bottom member and then a strap across the top so I can hold some of my tooling vertically. So similar to before, we're just going to bend tail ends of that in, put it together. This is perfect. I wanted something I can put my back plate or stop plate in. These bars. Really any other just miscellaneous stuff I've got laying around. Alright, the last step before we paint it is to add our maker's mark on there. So I like to 3D print these embossed, is it serif or sans serif? I can't remember fonts. Ooh, that guy's a little squiggly. But I just find the center mark and line them up. So we're going to have Stratton machinery on there. Should look fairly nice. That's perfect. I really love how that looks. Gives it that nice cast iron look to it. That said, we should be ready for paint. Well, the paint's finally dry on this thing, so we can start to put the casters on, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm not positive that I love the lighter gray coat that I chose, but I think I'm just going to have to live with it at this point. Guess I can always repaint it if I decide I don't like it. Alright, it's finally time to see how this thing fits up. Put it on the stand. Now, because that leg is dog-bowed out a little bit there, my square nice shelf is sitting off about 3/16. So, hoping we can just stretch that out a bit, and it'll fall right in. Whew. There we go. Alright, same thing. We're caught up on something. Been really nice if I remembered to cut the side that was already stained. Oh well. This is looking great. I've got the stop dog back on. Everything's functioning. You know, afterwards looking at it, I probably could have stripped it down and painted it, but I think I'm pretty happy with where it's at. Just about done. I just need to install these new called G-I-T oil ways. Or oil ports, I guess. So just use a little wooden mallet. Gently put them in. Not sure how far those need to go in, but it's looking pretty good about there. I'm super happy with how this thing turned out. Typically, I'm a fan of darker colors, but this hammered light gray, I really like how it ties the whole thing together, and get this thing off the ground, out of my way, and it's time to find a project to put it to use for.